Come to a class at Corp.
Who made the console orange?
Do I look?
The US is building a bike path that goes all the way across America.
So if you've been on the internet for at least more than a few seconds, you've probably heard of Instagram Reels. You can be watching a video from a guy that looks like Ned from Spider-Man,
Not Spider-Man's best friend. Do I really look like that?
to some kid that has some pretty questionable music taste.
I love you.
And myself, I'm a pretty avid Reels enthusiast. I mean, the funniest clips that I've ever seen have been from Reels. And yeah, you can just go to TikTok, but the quality of Reels is just so like distorted and messed up that it makes it even funnier.
Do you want to eat?
So if you are in for a short burst of dopamine, Instagram is the place to get it, but it can come at a cost. Because if you've been on Reels long enough, you've definitely come across the app's more questionable side as to what kind of content it serves you. Reels that have seemingly flown under the platform's user guidelines as to what is acceptable to upload onto the site. Specifically talking about Reels that feature some pretty dark stuff, containing things up to horrible injuries, this weird trend that's going around featuring AI altered vines that is changing the ending of them and making things incredibly creepy.
Stupid.
They're not.
What's 9 plus 10?
And as we get even deeper, there are even whole accounts dedicated to uploading videos of things like street brawls, school, gang activity, horrific car, pretty much you name it, you can probably find it on Instagram Reels. And at this point, a lot of the stuff you'd see on Reels, you would see typically on stuff like 4chan or even like LiveLeak before that was taken down as well. All this to say that Reels has gone to some pretty dark places, and I think it's only going to get worse, to be honest. So if you are in the mood to be freaked out about the atrocities that are currently on Reels, join me on this journey while we take a dive into the horrors of Instagram Reels. So Instagram Reels was the company's own take on the wildly successful app TikTok, which did launch back in 2016 by the Chinese company ByteDance, which slowly evolved into the Goliath of a content platform that it is today, having pretty much anything your heart could desire, and especially these receptors up here. With what began with Musical.ly featuring stars like Jacob Sartorius, shifted into what we now know as the Goliath that can predict pretty much any short form content that your dopamine receptors can ask for. So pretty much a paradise in this very dystopian world. And then came along Instagram, seeing the success, and decided to launch their own short form category called Reels, which has surprisingly surpassed TikTok's active users, putting Instagram at 1.4 billion opposed to TikTok's 1 billion. So all this to say that there are a lot of people currently using Instagram Reels, meaning that there is a ton of stuff on Reels that you may not see, but a ton of other people are currently watching. Things that can get pretty dark. So what I wanted to do is conduct a little experiment by trying to create a brand new Instagram account to see what kind of feed you would get when you first start out, and how easily it is to fall into the rabbit hole of horrific content. So I started off by creating this AI generated kid who will make 18 because that's the minimum age you have to be to create an Instagram account. But also this is incredibly easy to bypass, like if you put your actual birthday, which I did as an example. If you put an age under 18, it will tell you that you can't make an Instagram account, but all you have to do is simply change the year. There's no real issue with that. So there's pretty much no way you can't make an Instagram account as a kid, which I say this aware of the fact that this isn't anything crazy. I mean, this has been a feature since the days of Facebook. You used to have kids in like first grade with Facebook accounts, and I know because I was one of those kids. Like according to Facebook, I just celebrated my 40th birthday, which is also kind of funny because I super exaggerated my age. Like when I made my account, this was the picture that I made, and I was supposedly 24 years old at the time. But the real thing that I wanted to test is how fast it takes for you to come across these dark videos. So now that I had my account, the first thing that I wanted to do was open up Instagram Reels to see what was on the first video it would suggest me. The first video I got was in another language, so the algorithm was definitely still trying to figure out who Joe was. But the longer I spent on the app as this new person Joe, the more it got to know me. And since the goal of this experiment was to see how long it would take to start getting suggested darker content, I started off by interacting with looks maxing posts with the intent of just trying to get a really depraved kind of feed. And so the looks maxing posts reinforcing Eurocentric beauty standards seemed like a good place to start. There was also something pretty odd with these posts, like they would always have this very obviously AI generated person as the beauty standard in the video, or at least for the goal of the technique that they were trying to show you. And the more that I interacted with these posts, I started liking and saving them, and even sometimes going to the account to see what else it would feed me. And after doing this for a while, it started to suggest the next thing in looks maxing, which were fitness videos having the same kind of theme, where they would give you a workout regimen and then show you the end result. And I do have a lot of opinions on looks maxing as well. It's kind of a really sad trend that's going around. I think a few months ago it hit its peak, but obviously it is still prominent in Reels right now, as these videos are garnering thousands of views and likes. Because looks maxing in its essence isn't really about self-improvement through fitness, education, and most importantly, nurturing your soul. It's this whole phenomenon of basically saying you're not good enough and these are the things you can do to fix yourself. It's a very harmful and unhealthy trend, and it's pretty sad how these videos are targeted towards a lot of impressionable young boys and teens. Because I do know I was one of those kids that was always trying to look my best, like doing like push-ups in my room. But with looks maxing, when kids are trying to look their best, they're instead being fed gua shaing like crazy to fix their jawline. Not to mention the impossible workouts that just seem absurd. Like, I am all for skincare and working out, but taking things to the extreme is never the answer. Nor should rejecting how you look ever be as well. But in the process of interacting with these videos, the next step in the algorithm, at least according to what I was interacting with, the next thing Instagram decided to feed me was this video. A video featuring a small pickup truck interacting with a semi-trailer on the road. Now, I am unable to show this video for obvious reasons, but essentially the pickup truck ends up crossing paths with the semi-trailer, cutting them off, and the entire weight of the semi-trailer ends up flopping onto the other car, pretty much crushing it completely. I'll show a quick clip, but obviously it's going to be heavily blurred.
Monday.
And I did clock the time that it took me to reach a very base level feed to the looks maxing to this point, and it was only 19 minutes, which is honestly pretty shocking considering I was only interacting with the looks maxing videos up until this point, and now I was being fed this video, which was incredibly unnerving. It almost felt like the next step that Instagram was giving me, going from morally questionable posts to something very depraved. So after this video, I decided to go to the account to see if it was restricted, or at least private for that matter. But no, nothing. This is a public account just completely dedicated to car accidents, specifically fatal car accidents. All with descriptions saying that everyone in the video is fine, although watching each of these, it's pretty apparent that that is far from the case. And this is most likely a way to avoid the algorithm hammering down on these videos. But honestly, just looking through the account, I haven't seen videos this bad since like 4chan or LiveLeak for that matter. I know a lot of stuff flies under the radar on Twitter as well, and Twitter is probably a much darker place than Instagram. But at least as far as I know, on Twitter you do have to look for these kinds of videos, but here it's kind of just being suggested to you, including this one of a woman who tries to evade authorities who have pulled her over by fleeing the scene. And the next thing we do see of the woman is her car lodged under a semi-truck. And honestly, what has to be the worst parts of seeing these videos is, you know, obviously the mental toll that it takes on you, but the comments as well. Take this video for example, with a car flipped over after a collision, and the comments on the post are like, "I can't stop laughing, I feel bad for them, but it's funny. Bro's car weighed 2 kilograms. He overreacted when a tuna can falls out of your pantry." Just like really detached comments, and it really goes to show that after watching so many of these, how kind of numb you can get to the content you watch, no matter how dark it gets. And when I went to the bio of this page, the account also has a second account where they post even more graphic car crashes. And after going through this feed for so long, it honestly became pretty exhausting. Like, this might sound like a bit of an exaggeration, but I could like feel myself getting tired and like physically exhausted just from watching these videos. Seeing this kind of content at such a rapid pace is definitely something that can affect your state of mind, I feel like. And that's become pretty evident in the comments of these posts, where people have essentially become numb to the shock value of these videos. With comments like, "I didn't feel a thing," "This isn't even that bad, LOL." So after going through this feed for a while, probably like an hour at this point, I decided to take a little break from the experiment and take Pinto for a walk to clear my head and touch a bit of grass, but all I could think about were the videos on this pretty unhinged feed that I had created. It also left me morbidly curious as to what else could be found. When I got home, I considered doing a little bit more work on the app, but I decided to just call it a night. And on the second day of the app, things obviously didn't get much better, and I was kind of working with a very loose structure as to what I wanted to accomplish with this experiment. Because did I really want to reach the bottom of the barrel as to what can be found on this app? How long would that take? And more importantly, would I regret it? A bit reluctantly, I open the app and the first thing that I see is this truck pummeling like 3 cars. And after being on the app for about 10 minutes, the algorithm started feeding me videos featuring an account completely dedicated to posting the same clip of the towers being hit. Every single day without fail, with some of these posts garnering millions of views. And not long after, an incredibly dark video featuring a truck holding cows that tips over on the side of the road. And on top of that, I ended up finding an account while trying to find this Pinocchio short film that I was interested in, but I ended up stumbling completely by chance by an account that was posting just a ton of gore content. One that made me genuinely sick. I had to step away from my phone, but it was an image of a man with his face just completely gone, and another of a dog that I don't think you want to know the details of that. Just completely bottom of the barrel kind of stuff that was being posted, and at this point I just kind of wanted to call it quits. So maybe after like a cumulative total of like maybe 3 hours on this new account, I'd seen documentations of tragedies, horrific accidents, and now animal. Yeah. And again, it's crazy because I was only on the app for maybe, like 3 hours total, and I can't imagine if you were on this app constantly engaging with this type of content for months on end even. And to kind of just bring things into a lighter mood, I had this account that appeared on my own personal feed of this animation that was genuinely amazing. It's this account called Johnny Crickets who made this 2-part animation short with a twisted take on the story of Pinocchio. In the video, Jiminy Cricket is alongside Pinocchio, telling him that there is no way he should be allowed to go outside again because of all the things he found on the street, these being a balloon and a rubber.
Okay, put it down. Thank you. What is that?
A balloon.
Okay, drop it. We're never going outside again.
Why not?
Because you can't be contained. You're like a fucking chimpanzee.
What are we gonna do?
I don't know. We're gonna sit in here and read a book or something until your dad gets home.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh my god.
However, in the second part, it seems that Pinocchio has become tired of his conscience repeatedly telling him what he can and cannot do. So tired, he decided to take matters into his own hands. And we can see Jiminy begging Pinocchio not to do what he thinks he's going to.
Mess with your father's tools, okay? It's dangerous. What are you doing with the mallet? Why are you holding that mallet?
I don't know.
Okay, put it down. Pinocchio, put it down. You gonna hurt me with that?
What?
Are you going to hurt me with that, Pinocchio?
No.
Okay. You don't want to go to school? We don't have to go to school, okay? What do you want to do tomorrow? You want to be an actor tomorrow, Pinocchio? Tomorrow I'm gonna take you to be an actor, okay? I think you're gonna be famous. I think you're gonna do very well. Pinocchio, put it down. Put it down. 1, 2, 2.5, 3.
The buildup of the short is incredibly well done, with Pinocchio just blatantly lying, and you can tell with the growing of his nose that he is. It just adds that sense of eeriness that really makes your skin crawl in the best way possible, as opposed to the shock value videos that were being posted all over Instagram Reels. And the reason I bring this account up is to say that there's a lot of talented people on Instagram creating horror content similar to this. Like, aside from all the really messed up stuff you can find on Instagram, there's also a lot of genuinely talented creators to find as well. But referring back to the darker and genuinely unhinged videos that are being posted, I will occasionally try to use this burner account to see what else I can find for now. But for now, I think I'm going to be putting it to rest, at least for a while, because I don't think I can take it. But it does make you wonder that in our increasingly digital world, it's going to become impossible to moderate it all. Or an even darker thought, that the technology is there, but the corporations just don't care. I mean, just look at how much traction these videos bring to the platform, because at the end of the day, engagement is engagement, no matter what's being posted. So genuinely, please stay safe online and report these videos if you can, because you never know what kid will stumble upon them. I know I was one of them. Just going through Twitter threads, you can find pretty much the worst stuff there. So if you could do that, that'd be great. I also do want to say that I did end up going back on the account just to report every post that I interacted with. But yeah, I do want to give a huge shout out to all of my channel members, as well as my ultimate tiers, Kareem Ariano, Alejandro from the Tower, and K-Pop Lover X3. If you want early access to videos and your name right here, and if you want to support me, because that'd be sweet if you did, it's only $1.99. And yeah, I'll see you later. I love ya.
Okay, I feel like I watched this a couple of days ago because I already reacted to this video. We'll just upload his side of the video, and I'll just upload my side of the video here. So there was a time period that I never mentioned. Let me drink my drink for a quick sec. And there was a time period during 2018 and 2019 where there was a leak of Middle Easterner gore videos. Now, I spoke about this in a different video a long time ago. It was just like some animated story shit, some animated scary stories. And I spoke about how it was actually true, that this actually did happen on Instagram. Someone said that I was lying. I know I'm not lying, because at one point, Instagram got breached by these gore videos, and they made it to the front page every single fucking time. One in particular, I'm disgusted to say that I remember with the most hate in my heart. So, there was this one time that I saw a gore video of a dog just minding its own business. These Middle Easterner guys come up to it. They're probably provoking it in some sort of way, talking about how they're going to beat the shit out of the dog. The dog's minding its own business. It's near some sort of building or something like that, a house. Don't know. Next moment, they follow the dog. Dog's barking menacingly, trying to intimidate the people. And they're not even intimidated at all. They're like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to beat the hell out of you just because I want to. So why not? Because I think it's funny. So then they come near the dog and they start beating it. The dog bites back a bit. Then they beat the shit out of the dog's leg, breaks the dog's leg, and it yelps and just yelps. And that's the end of the video. I remember that video like no other day because it was a breach of gore videos. But I do remember this. The dog's leg was bleeding. That's how disgusted I was at the fact that I even reached Instagram. Like, Instagram is actually turning into a free dark web. I don't know why. But guys, I don't have too much to say on this topic, except this. When you notice gore videos with crashing and brutal deaths and people spamming other people's comments saying that I post brutal deaths, I post brutal fights, make sure to block them. This is that simple. Instagram will understand that this content is not for you. You can continuously block them until the point where Instagram is forced to understand that you will never want to see this content unless your dumbass is actually typing it in. And you see, a lot of people will lie and say they don't type it in. But me knowing you guys do that, and you are pretty much the type of liars I expect you to be, I feel bad for you. Because I know for a fact some of y'all type that in. That's not just randomly appearing on your feed for, I don't know, the children's sake or some bullshit. You guys have been typing it in. Let's be real. So, chat. Make sure to do the right thing, if that makes sense. And actually stay away from the dark web videos that have been breaching Instagram lately. Be smart. Just say not interested, block them, do what you need to do. But talking about the dark side of Instagram when there has been a dark side for years doesn't make sense. Just block them, move on with your day, and act like that shit never happened. Worked for me. Trust me. Watching gore is not something you want to be doing. It fucks with the mind. It makes the mind broken, and then you start getting some psychotic ideas, as I like to say. That's how a psycho starts off, people. They start watching gore and they get obsessed off of it. So, yeah, stay away from that. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay safe out there and stay mentally healthy out there. Got some edge balls trying to get you fucking hyped up to do something crazy. Peace out.
Hi, I'm Lucy Christian. I am the voice of Otako Uraraka, and you should subscribe to Neusxanity's channel. Peace out!